All right, y'all. We got another one out of Louisiana. We got a Gerald Willis asking for a commutation of his sentence. He kidnapped, essayed, and murdered his girlfriend and his girlfriend's friend, and he's asking to be freed. Y'all think they should let him out? Or should they let him cook? Let me know.
Lewis, who represent the victim, Lewis, Miss Jasmine.
Man, looks like a demon sitting there. No life in them eyes.
All right, good afternoon. The pardon board is now at Elaine Hunt Correctional Center. It's 11:47 and today is Monday, April 6, 2026. Good morning, Warden. Would you and your staff introduce yourself, please?
Yes, Warden Travis today. Darius Credit, Assistant Warden Classification.
Christy LeBlanc, classification.
All right, thank you. And we have Mr. Willis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Would you tell us your name and your DOC number, please?
Gerald Willis, 103259.
Sir, Mr. Willis. And let's see, I'm going to acknowledge some of the folks who are here today. We have your granddaughter on Zoom. See if she's on Zoom. That's Jasmine DeShazier. Did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we have some folks in opposition. We have Mr. Scott from the District Attorney's Office in Orleans Parish. Here with us in Baton Rouge, we have Gerald Lewis and Raquel Lewis, who represent the victim. But I do see that they are in support and will be speaking shortly. All right, first I'm going to read some identifying information into the record, Mr. Willis, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Freeman. He's seated to my far right. Your case has been assigned to him. Okay.
Okay.
So, Mr. Willis, you are classified as a first felony offender. You were sentenced in Orleans Parish in September 1983. Excuse me, first it was August 1983, first degree murder. You received a life sentence. And then another sentencing date later in September 1983 for first degree rape and aggravated kidnapping. You also received a life sentence in that case. So those sentences are running concurrently, so you are serving life. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, good morning. First off, Mr. Willis, tell me, what did you do to get yourself put into this situation while you're in jail? And what have you done since you've been in jail that we should consider releasing you today?
Okay, well, things started off, Miss Allison Bunks, my girlfriend, for 6 months. We were staying together. We separated 4 months prior to her. She had come by my apartment and with my son. And she stayed the night, left the next morning. And next time I heard from her was March 8th. She called me, said she was going out of town. All right. Then March 10th, I was deciding to move out of my apartment. And I was calling her at her home to find out where she wanted me to bring the stuff that she had left in her apartment, in my apartment. But she wasn't there. They told me she was by Miss Florence Bass' apartment. So I asked them, do they have a phone number? Nobody had a number to Miss Brown Fast. So I went and rented a pickup truck to start moving, but they didn't have no pickup trucks at the time. The only thing they had was a van on the lot. So I rented the van, then I went back to my house, put some things in, then I went to Miss Brown Fast apartment. And Allison was there then. And she was sitting on the sofa. Miss Brown Fast let me in.
Don't let him lie to you. He rented that van with the sole intention on kidnapping them women. You don't rent a van to move stuff. You rent a truck. He rented that van. Sole purpose to kidnap them women. He's sitting here lying in front of the parole board about it.
We talked briefly, and I asked, let's go in the middle of the room, because I wanted to talk to her in private, because Miss Bass was in the area. And she said no. So I said, let's go take a ride. So we could talk. She said no. I said, then I told her, look, I'm gone. She said, I'm going to call you. Okay. So I left. Then I got in the van, I left, I come back, but in about 5 minutes I come back. And I told her, when I had the gun in my hand, I never did point that, but I had the gun in my hand, I told her, I said, come on. And we were about to leave, and then I said, tie this throwing bad hands up. And then I said, no, I said, you coming with us. So we got in the van, went to the park, and we sit there a good while, we just talk, and that's what I told her. I said, the reason I really want to talk with you, because I was moving out the apartment, and she asked me why. I said, because I wanted to start a fresh start. I wanted to get closer to my job area. And then then we started talking about us. I really wanted to know what's, because, about her coming, back to the farm. I would have her to see her when she can on March the 1st, if she can, because I hadn't seen her in about 4 months after we had separated.
Let's get to what happened. I mean, what happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to get to now. So after we talked for a little while, and Miss Bass asked me, Gerald, come talk to her, and come hold and talk to her. That was she said. I wasn't really going in, and no intention was going in the back of the thing. So when I went back there, we talked for a minute, kissed her, and next thing we made love. Then I told Miss Bass, take your pants off. And I told her, I'm going to show you how it feels. I was referring to when we broke up, she had left me because she had met somebody. And that was the reason I said that, done that. And then I got on this pass. It wasn't about 30 seconds. I said, this ain't right, this is wrong. I just felt bad about the whole thing. I got up, I stopped. We started talking again a little while. And then Miss Bass said, Gerald, come on, Gerald, bring us back to the expressway. We're going to walk on. So about 5 more minutes, we talked a little more about different things. And I was about to get ready to leave. And all of a sudden, I got up from my seat. She came, started coming. She said, Gerald, that gun ain't loaded. No, she said, that gun is not real. I said, the gun is loaded. She said, real. And I told her, stop. And she just was coming a little slower. And after that, I told her 3 more times, I said, stop, get back, get back. And by that time, I kind of got up off the seat, raised up a little bit. I couldn't stand up all the way in the bank because it was in the van. And I don't know if I just shot up, pulled the trigger, and that's what after I shot the other girl, we left. I left, took him out then and I left. And, I was, on that, and, before me being, what I've been doing since I've been locked up, I've been working in the kitchen for 20 years, 19 years as a baker. I trained 85 inmates on how to bake. I've done 17 years at Angola in the kitchen. So altogether, I had 37 years straight from week to week, just working in the kitchen. I worked 5 years in the bakery at Angola too. I've been to all types of classes, substance abuse and anger management, sex classes, pre-release. I have certificates for all that. I have baking certificates, I have church certificates. Those things I've really been doing. But I love baking. That's the type of job I really like to work with when I get out, work in a restaurant. Either my two sons say they're gonna get me on that day job. They work at a steel pipe plant. And I really love that. She had 2 children for me. I was married for 13 years, and I have two sons of my ex-wife. That's the reason me and my wife is 17 hours and she left me. That's for me now. Started standing over, and then she left. She wanted to move on with her life. Was kind of hurt by it because I have some good plans for us. I wanted to marry, I had some more children. And but she said she wanted to move on, so I had to accept what she said. I couldn't,
I got you. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something. You need to really tell us the truth today. I'm very disappointed with your opening statement. Not even slightly disappointed, very disappointed. So anyway, we're gonna hear from Miss Jasmine DeShazer, granddaughter.
Jasmine Lewis.
I'm gonna talk to her. Miss Lewis?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, what do you have to say about your grandfather?
I would just like to say that, I get the story. I understand it, throughout the years of hearing everything that happened. I'm basically the first grandchild that got in contact with him, and
question that you knew she was 15 when you're 22 and this occurred.
Yes, sir. When it occurred, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Warden. Would you and your staff introduce?
Then we started talking about us, pre-release.
our grandfather from he's learned what he done. And I also think that, if my mom and my uncle Gerald Lewis, if they're able to forgive him, being that was their mom, which is my grandmother, if we can see past it and accept him as our grandfather and our father, then I feel like anyone else should be able to understand just dealing with the pain that my mother and her brother had to go through all their lives. Me and my grandfather has a good relationship. Being over the phone, I even visit him a couple of times. So I just would want to see him come home. He has plenty of grandkids now and great grandkids that he can only see through pictures. And I mean, like I said, we don't have our grandmother, so it would be nice to at least experience the rest of the years with our grandfather from our mother's side of the family. But other than that, yeah, we would just really like to see him come home and be with us.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right, let's hear from the warden Day.
Yes, I recently spoke with, Gerald and sat down and had a conversation with him. You know, as far as disciplinary, I guess since he's been locked up for the 40+ years, he's had 17 write-ups, last one being in 2015. And he does contribute greatly, in the kitchen for us. So, that kind of speaks for itself there, but that's about all I have right now. Thank you.
Warden, I got one question for you. I see he was a level 5 on his mental health. Is he on any mental health? No, level 5 is low. Does he have any mental health problems?
Any mental health medications? You know, are you taking one? Yeah, I'll check on that. Give me just a minute.
Okay, yeah, check on it for me, please. All right, well, let's now hear from the people that are really in favor, but, let's talk to, let's go with, Brad Scott at Orleans DA's office.
Thank you. When I was listening to Mr. Willis's version of events, it broke up a little bit at the end, so I'm not sure if what I'm going to say conflicts with what he said, but I'll just kind of go over what I found in the police report, which is in our records. And I also wanted to say that the probation and parole report that y'all received said that y'all don't have the police report. If y'all ever want it, or if you want me to give it to probation and parole, they can reach out to me. We have it scanned in as part of our file. And that's where I got all this information from. So on January 5th, 1981, Mr. Willis battered Miss Barnes. A domestic violence incident was reported, and unfortunately, Miss Barnes elected not to pursue those charges. Mere months later, March 10th, 1981, Mr. Willis tracked down Miss Barnes at her friend's house, Miss Bass. He went up to the house with a gun. He told them both at gunpoint to get into the van that he had rented. They both got in the van. He then drove off a little ways. He raped Miss Barnes. He then told, while he was raping Miss Barnes, he told Miss Bass, "You're next." After he was done raping Miss Barnes, he raped Miss Bass and told Miss Barnes, this is what you get for having sex with somebody else. In other words, dumping him to go to live with another man or to date another man. After he was done raping them, he tied them up in the back of the van and he drove them to a specific place, Berman Park. He chose that place because that's where he had met Miss Barnes. This was all planned in his head. The rapes, the kidnapping, and the murders. He then shot them both while they were in the van. Only he didn't kill Miss Bass. She unfortunately made a sound, though, at which point he grabbed the cord that he had her tied up with and he strangled her. And then he beat her hand with a metal object to see if she would flinch, to see if she was still alive. She successfully played dead. And after he left, she miraculously made her way out of this abandoned wooded area that people use as a dump, like old refrigerators and trash was dumped there. And she found a house and she leaned up against a glass door and she just started knocking her elbow against the door. The man who owned the house was cutting grass in the front yard. His dog was barking. He goes inside to see what his dog's barking for, and he finds this bloodied woman on the ground. And that's how the police are notified of this incident. In the police report, it says that after Mr. Willis did all this and thought that he had successfully killed both women, he went to his ex-wife's house, Gail Taylor's house, where he threatened her with a knife. That was in March. He then fled the state, and he was arrested in Miami, Florida on December 20th, 1981. This man does not deserve to be paroled. We would urge the board to deny his requests and keep him in prison for the rest of his life. But real quick, I want to make mention of Miss Barnes. I'm sorry, not Miss Barnes, Miss Bass, who was contacted by the parole board, and it looks as though she doesn't want to be contacted anymore. And honestly, I don't blame her. You know, these offenders get time after time after time, and every single time this wound is ripped open on these victims. And Miss Bass has had enough. It certainly doesn't mean she's in favor of anything, but she's just had enough, and she doesn't even want to hear it anymore. She doesn't even want to talk about it anymore. So unfortunately, I'm her only voice. We'd ask for you to deny everything. Thank you.
Thank you for coming and speaking to us. It always is very helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll hear from Gerald Lewis, the victim's son.
Please.
It's it's my dad, and my sister Raquel. You know, victims of what we did to our mom. I was 2 years old, she was 5 years old. And as you can imagine, like it's always, this, then I can hate it, he did to her. And things in my life happened that led me to a prison. I'm like, I ain't rolling. And I always believed that me going to prison had a lot to do with meeting him for the first time. That's what I met him at. And meet him and talking to him. Learning things about him in my mind and about what happened. Yeah, I've always felt like only God changed my heart for him. And meeting him for the first time, talking to him, the way he talked about my mom, I know he loved her. I know he's sorry. I believe in my heart that yes, he can undo what he would. But that's not how life go to work. We hear the facts about what happened, that'll never change. He did what he did. I do believe he takes accountability for it. He just have a hard time of saying that, expressing that, especially when he sees her. But I know he loved my mom. I believe my heart he was sorry for that. And he expressed that to me. That he hated himself for what he did to her. And we lost both of them. I was 2 and she was 5. And we were victims of this crime. But I learned from my grandmother about forgiveness. And I believe me forgiving him as I do it changed my life too. Because I was able to release that. And I carried that all my life. About him, what he did to her. So, it's been 45 years now, and my mom has been deceased. In 45 years that he has been in prison. I know he loved her, I know he saw her. And me and my sister believe that if we can forgive him, we hope and pray that the spirit of Louisiana can too, and write him apart, that he can stand. Have one son he have left for us, his kids, his grandkids, and great grandkids.
You say you met him at Angola?
Yes, sir.
You went to visit him?
No, I served 24 and a half years in Angola myself.
While you were in prison, that's when you met him?
And for the first time in Angola. Yes, sir.
And you forgive him?
Yes.
That's
So
good.
hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Raquel Lewis?
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Raquel Lewis. I'm the only girl of my dad. I was 5 when this happened, March 10th, 1981. Me and my brother, he was 2. He don't remember anything about our mom, not even how she looks, nothing. If it wasn't for pictures and the neighborhood and family, we really wouldn't know nothing about her, you know. And from my dad, he tells us, you know, the good stuff. And we have a good relationship with him. He calls all the time from jail. I've never like had a hateful bone in my body for my dad. Even though I knew what he did was wrong. Even coming up, I went to private school with my grandmother. My mom adopted me and my brother. That's why our last name is Lewis. My name is Shirley Lewis. And she never, not once, like never made us hate him. Like she just was a spiritual person. Like she just never wanted us. After all, she always said that's still your daddy. You know, he did what he did and what was wrong, but that's still your daddy. She never like judged him for what he did. Never. Like even with our adoption, like he still by the state, he still was our dad. He had to sign off on papers for to adopt us. So we went through a lot, and we still go through a lot on a daily basis. I'm 50 years old. My mom's birthday was Friday, April 3rd. You know, and I know my dad is sorry for what he did. I'm his only daughter. And a lot of what he said up here, a lot of it's true. We hear about what happened on March 10, 1981. And like my brother said, he takes accountability for it, especially with me and my brother. He knows what he took from us. And like I always live with, I don't hate my dad. I don't. I hate what he did to my mom and her friend. I don't hate him. I just feel like he made a bad decision that day. And if he could, I know with everything in him. I know the love he had for me. Brothers, yeah, he do, but for me, I'm his only daughter. I'm his twin. Like, and I know because of me, I know that he don't have to say it. I know being God, I know I'm the reason. Me, like, he always knew that it's going to be one of my daughters. Jasmine is my daughter, the one that just spoke. He always knew it was going to be one of Raquel's daughters because I never hated him. You know, the boys, they have their own way, you know, dealing with their dad, but I'm going to always be a daddy's girl. I'm going to always, you know, support him, whether it's in there or out here. I'm always, and I feel like today I wear my mom with us. And I knew she know, I feel like she would want him with a second chance. I feel like she would want him with us. Because at the end of the day, we lost both of them. We've been doing this, and my brother went to jail at 17, and he was gone for 24 and a half years. Came home 4 years ago. Oh. And I've been out here, my immediate family was gone. And I saw my brother home, and now we're here to try to get my daddy home, and we just ask that, if we can, this is something that we have to deal with. Everybody else can go home, and live their regular, but every time I go to sleep, I think about my mom. All day we talk about our mom. I just had a grandbaby, she's named after my mom. So this is, something that we have to deal with. And at the end of the day, if we can't forgive him, we can. That's my mom. Allison Faye Barnes is my mom, our mom. And if we can't forgive her, we are just praying that everybody on this panel, everybody in this room, especially Louisiana, can just find their her this second chance at life. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, let's get back to you, Mr. Willis. About what happened with that aggravated escape? What was that all about?
I was at Cherry Hospital, and something just come over me. I just tried to escape. Grabbed for the sergeant gun. That was it. He just took it from me. I mean, I ain't never took it. He just had his hand on the holster down in it, but that didn't last about 5 minutes. And Cherry Security came and they took me, put me in a lockup till the other people came out from the prison, from the parish jail.
I see you have 4 children. You got contact with all 4 of them?
Yes, sir. Every week I talk to them for years and years. They visit me and talk. I have 12 grandchildren, 19 great grandkids, and I'm in touch with all my grandchildren. Talk, visit the city, come be there for me, come home, they're gonna support me, help me, do whatever. Like I said, I never seen none of my great grandkids yet. I've got pictures of them. I talked to a few of them on the phone, that's about it on that.
And I do want to note for the record, he has the level of mental health is 5. He has no problems whatsoever.
No problems. He's medical 4 and mental health 5, so pretty much nothing.
Yeah, so I apologize for that. Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Where'd you get the van that you were driving?
I had rented from a rental place. I went to go rent a pickup truck, but they didn't have no more. All of them were rented out. The only thing that was a van. First, I wasn't gonna rent the van because another one had to make a lot of trips trying to move all the stuff in the van. So eventually, I wound up just renting the van, and I got the van from.
Were these ladies together when you kidnapped them?
Say it again, sir.
Excuse me. Were these ladies together when you kidnapped them?
Yeah, they were together. Yeah, as Miss Florence has a father.
Okay. That's all right.
From what I can read and what you said, all of this was premeditated because Miss Barnes had left you and you were going to teach her a lesson. You were going to, you had the gun, you were going to kill him, you were going to rape him, and you were going to kidnap him. Sounds like the whole thing was premeditated for both of them. Am I correct?
So that was never on my mind. When I went there, I went exactly to talk to her about moving the stuff she left in our apartment and to talk to her about us. Now, the other stuff was never, all that accumulated after I went in the back of that van. Miss Pat asked me to come back and talk to Allison and hold and talk to her. That's when things changed. But had never had nothing like that on my mind. I didn't have to rape her. She had just slept on my apartment a week before. And she had been my girlfriend for 6 years. I didn't have no reason to rape. The honest truth on that.
But you did. The crime, the details of the crime, which the DA pointed out, were heinous and brutal for both of the ladies. So, and I understand forgiveness, and that's a huge part of healing. I would say that's the center part of healing for victims. But there's also consequences for behavior that you can have both forgiveness and there can be consequences. And for what I'm seeing here today, that's what I'm hearing. I just wanted to make a remark about it.
Mr. Willis, what's your level of education?
Finished high school in 1969.
Okay, you did. All right.
Ma'am,
And well, I saw in the record somewhere since you've been in prison, you were enrolled in a literacy program. Did you say you finished your high school?
yeah, I just took up some class just to do some, to have something put on my record, that I've been doing, went, to school at Hunt. But I graduated in 1969.
Okay. And then you mentioned, other than the baker, you work in the kitchen, what kind of community service work did you do at the prison?
Well, I work all over the kitchen. I was a meat cook, dye cook. For bakery, I fell in love with. I had dietitian that really taught me while I was in Angola. That's where I really learned how to bake. And 5 years I was in the bakery at Angola, came to Hunt's, and the second day at Hunt's, they put me in the kitchen. But I didn't come in the bakery until after close to a year that I had been at Hunt's. So I was at Hunt's for 20 years, but I've been 19 years in the bakery, and I had taught these 85 inmates on how to bake, read the recipes, stuff like that. Different.
That's what I was getting at, is that community service. That's what I want that. Thank you, sir. Any other questions? You ready to vote?
Yes. Okay. Mr. Willis, like I said, when I first started, I don't know if it's just because you're not able to or whatever, but your story I'd rather just come right out and say, yes, I killed my wife and then I raped the lady, than to sit up there and say, we talked. Y'all wasn't talking. But anyway, you do have no victim opposition. You've been in jail 45 years. You're a first offender and you're 75. I don't think you're going to be, I hope you're not a public safety risk. My vote is going to be to commute to 99 years with immediate parole eligibility.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Freeman. My vote also is to commute your sentence to 99 years with immediate parole.
Ms. Stapleton?
I'm sorry, based upon the heinous nature of the premeditated crime on two women at the same time, I'm going to have to vote to deny.
Mr. Craig?
Yeah, so you've done some good things, but the truth of the matter is you took a gun in your van, you kidnapped two women, you tied them up, you raped them both, you shot to kill both of them. Only one died, fortunately, but it was a premeditated, horrible crime, and my vote is to deny.
All right, Mr. Willis, you received 2 votes that were favorable, 2 that were not. So the outcome today is that your application has been denied, sir. Good luck to you.
Just like that, he's denied. But can you believe 2 people voted to parole that man after what he did? Clown world.